about myself, I've been with Heineken over 20 years.
You're Dutch?
I'm a Dutch national. I'm married. I've got 2 daughters, 11 and 13. So I graduated from university in the Netherlands and went into Heineken straight away. So I, in my life, wrote one sort of official letter, which was I was hired and I started in the Netherlands. I've worked abroad in Germany.
Okay.
So I started as a sales rep in the Netherlands. Moved to Germany at the time that the brand was just starting. And,
this is with Heineken in Germany.
This is Heineken in Germany,
okay.
And it felt a little bit like selling ice to the Eskimos at the time. The Germans are very proud of the product. We were trying to sell a premium product in Germany from Holland.
Yeah.
That we said it's an international product, but they said this is from Holland.
What year was this roughly?
This was 95, 96. Yeah. So literally selling ice to the Eskimos. So great, which was a fun time as a sales manager. I returned back. I worked in export. I worked in soft drinks, did marketing there. Then moved to the Caribbean.
Wow.
So I worked in Puerto Rico for 3 years. Which at the time, and it's a story in itself, but was the number 10 Heineken market in terms of volume in the world. So an island with 4 million people, but potentially the greenest island I've ever seen. Not because of nature, but also because of
Heineken.
that green wall. Which is good fun. Then I moved back to Europe, to Austria. I headed up the export organization for Central and Eastern Europe. Then off to the Middle East, where I ran a joint venture between Emirates and Heineken for the Gulf region, which was very interesting. One, stakeholders, but also to get that insight from a local company like Emirates and the way they compete with European airlines. So that was an interesting time. Lived in Dubai.
Okay.
So I was in the desert. We had, and I say this a lot as a joke, but it rained twice a year, and I came to Malaysia only for 4 months. So the patterns are slightly different. And if you want, only slightly. So we get a bit more rain than we do, to be fair. But enjoying it. I think it's great. This is a great market. And great people. GB is a great business. Has been extremely successful. By my predecessors, I think we've done really, really well. There's some challenges, but that's good. We're not complacent, and if we have been, then we're going to change that. And we're ready also for that sort of next generation stuff that we talked about. And that keeps us on our toes. But we believe we have to plan into the future to do it.
Probably the problem is contraband beer and all that, smuggled beer. Is it a very big problem you face?
Yeah, problem is maybe not the right word to use. It's an issue we have to deal with, and again, a market is structured in certain ways. If we're honest and we're looking at illicit trade and price levels of products entering the beer market, that puts us at an enormous disadvantage. And there, I could cry about this and say that's unfair, and listen, I think we need to work even harder. If I look at some of our positions, I mentioned East Malaysia. Well, if we focus on East Malaysia for a second, we need to work really, really hard because we're talking quite a price differential. So to keep our business going. It's tough.
Do you feel enough action has been taken maybe to prevent this contraband?
No, we feel more action is being taken. The question is that enough? It's a known phenomenon. I've given you my comments on it. It's not up to me to design policies.
As a brewer, what is your largest cost actually Other than tax, I think tax will be a chunk of it. What's your largest cost?
The moment I would then say our commercial spend.
Okay.
And we have a I said that before, formidable, I'll use the word again, competitor, but it's also quite aggressive. And aggressiveness also drives price a little bit, which is fine. And if consumers in Malaysia can benefit from it, I think it's absolutely great. But it's highly competitive, and I would call that as it's a major chunk of cost.
For your other offerings, your other brands, which brand do you think needs the most marketing attention?
I think it has to do with premiumness. So we're not neglecting the core of the business. I've read the bread and the butter, but I think that the core of the business is tighter in our opinion. So we need to, in absolute terms, put substantial marketing money behind it. If you would look at this per unit, or what we call per hectoliter, more premium brands actually need to be fueled a little bit more. So Heineken as an example, Heineken can only work in the eyes of consumers if you're excited. And if the Heineken brand, I can mention the Guinness brand, but I'll take this example. If it really leads the way in the way it communicates, and that means more investment. But there's a more and there's a more effective. So it's sometimes not only the amount of money that you spend, but sort of the wow factor. Can you surprise consumers really? So what I tell the marketing director is, don't ask for more only, but let's be more effective. So there's a bit of more, but there's also a bit of can we be effective. And we're lucky with the Diageo and Heineken, as we talked, that we can tap into these best practices. And the global platforms, on the Guinness brand, the artists there, the Santa Cruz there, in terms of Heineken, UEFA Champions League, which in football is right. It's a yearly competition. It's the most premium football competition on the globe. Attracts audiences also across the globe. And for Heineken to be a proud partner, and then for us to activate it in the marketplace is fantastic. Sponsorship of a James Bond movie, and what that can. And so there is elements that you can tap into, but you need to invest a little bit more. All of the activities is pretty.
What about expansion? Are you also looking at like maybe going to ales and stuff like that? Because it's one thing I noticed when you talk about UK and all that, they've got ales, bottom fermented, yeast, top fermented.
Yeah.
So are we heading in that direction?
I guess so. If this is where consumers want to go, then that's where we're going to have to go. And it's not like in Asia, Asian young consumers copy everything that they're doing in the West. But there's certain phenomena that we're seeing. And I think cider is a phenomenon.
Yeah.
If you now look at the US and cider, for example, it's a real phenomenon. Fastest growing segment in the US at the moment. Now, Kilkenny in itself is an ale.
Okay.
Now the question is, so how do we talk about this brand, really? And so what do people know about Kilkenny? And slightly more remote, real ales are maybe slightly more sexy.
Yeah.
But I think we have a really strong proposition with Kilkenny in ales. So we'll do more with it moving forward.
Right now you brew Kilkenny here, right? Kilkenny is brewed here. What about the other brands, let's say Paulaner? Are there any plans in the pipeline to brew it here? It's imported right now, right?
Yeah. No, there's no plans. So historically, we've engaged with our brand owners, and by the way, our shareholders, main shareholders, to look at licenses to brew. Into the future, and this is also why we're looking at our strategies a little bit, is we need to be on a journey. The journey has to be initially that you import. But it adds a lot of cost. Transportation, import duties, things that you need to do. So it drives price up excessively. So if you can find successful propositions over time, that's worth the consideration. But no concrete plans.
Okay. Yeah, because it would make sense, right? It will increase your bottom line if you brewed it here.
Yeah, it would. But you need a certain volume to drive.
Yeah.
Because quality is quite important.
Yeah.
So if you locally produce, there's minimum quantities that you need to produce. And then if you cannot sell it, you're gonna run into trouble.
Is there a very big cost differential between brewing a premium beer and a mainstream beer?
And if you look at if you look at lager, so stout is a little bit different.
Okay.
And if we look at
Yeah.
But if we just look like for lager, then for premium, so I'll take the Heineken brand as the example. There's special requirements.
Okay.
They have to do with the production process. They have to do with the lagering times. They have to do with the quality of the packaging. So there is a premium also in the whole production process. And that doesn't mean, because maybe that's important, the Tiger is inferior. That's not the point. But there's just some sort of extra special requirements that drive cost price up a little bit. That Heineken feels is important, and Guinness alike. Special requirements, certain quality barley, certain quality ingredients that you need to use in the beer. That drive cost, but also potentially drive highest possible quality of product.
I was asking because I was wondering if you boosted your premium market, how much of an impact to the bottom line it would be.
Yeah. So if you,
there's not really that much of a difference.
But producing is then, as I said, slightly more expensive. But if you then look at our pricing to trade and what sort of premium we can price, then our margin will be superior.
So it's always better to actually focus on the premium brand.
Yeah, but the one doesn't work without the other. So if we go to the on-trade and
volume,
we make a deal with a trade partner, he needs a brand like Tiger, and that needs to be complemented with Guinness, with Heineken, with Paulaner, and so the majority of people will still drink a Tiger, but you need to have it available. And we're thinking over time there'll be more consumers drinking premium water than today.
So in the pipeline, you are planning to bring in import more beers other than Paulaner?
Yeah, we're looking into that.
Mostly German or?
Not necessarily. I think you mentioned something on trends. So if ale is a trend, and we have Kilkenny, should we potentially complement it with something else? That's worth a thought. Is there new trends emerging? And there's one or two emerging trends. We'll look at that. So there's a little bit on flavor, I think, as a clue. That is what excites consumers. So still core malt-based beverage, but with a slight hook. And then there is sort of Latin American, Mexican. It's quite a big trend.
Soul and Corona.
That sort of product, which you need to look into. I think the wheat white beer, so between Hoegaarden and Paulaner, Hoegaarden more Belgian variety white beer, Paulaner German version wheat beer. And we can talk to consumers, some like the German version, others like the Belgian version, but wheat beer as a whole is a trend. So there's quite a few, and we need to look at how can we continue to invest in the core, keep it healthy, and complement, but in a feasible way.
Are there any particular new brands that you want to brew your tea?
That I
To brew your tea?
Well, it's in the pipeline. This is too soon to tell, really. I think from my story you'll get that we will be doing certain things. So if we would sit here again in 12 months' time, I'm pretty sure that we can talk about a few things that have happened.
So I guess a 1 year time frame,
Yeah,
we see some changes.
Yeah, we're trying to accelerate.